Hi guys, Xeonexis here, and today I'm going to be featuring a battle with Tehute 100 coming from the Fat Squad. Basically, this is a Fat Squad versus random people in random clans. Alright, so here I start with my regular build, a 2 barracks opening, upgrade to level 2 HQ as soon as possible, and then get myself an assault vehicle factory in order to get a shipyard fast. Now I'm doing my best to collect as many supply containers as I can. So here I try to move my rifleman to the enemy side to make sure I can collect that. I am not going to collect the containers at the bottom of the map because I am going to give them to my ally, since pretty much I am going to collect most of the sea containers anyway. So here, this is the only exception, I collect this one, but as for the rest, I give it to my ally. As soon as my headquarters is upgraded to level 2, I then proceed to build a shipyard as soon as I can. And with that in mind, build myself additional power plant and a supply center. Looking at my ally, he has finally started to build himself a shipyard, but on the other hand, here I am starting to produce my first Cayman. Alright, so now, naval strike boost to increase the speed and collect as many supply containers as I can. So here I see that the enemy has started to build a platform that is low on energy and a delta has already come out. So there's no way to contest that, and also green has managed to get himself a delta. So unfortunately I was not able to collect that supply container, so I decided to build myself a platform for defense purposes for later on, to prevent deltas from coming into my base. Alright, so I go a advanced supply boost, build myself additional supply centers so that I have good economy, and here a delta tries to scout my base, but because of the naval platform that I have built, he is easily destroyed. On the other hand, I am going to HQ3 as soon as possible, and I am also planning to build myself some avia factory to get myself dragonflies and hawks in case if the enemy is planning to go with Vikings, because one of the weaknesses of Vikings is because it has no anti-air. So here, using my Cayman, I try to scout the enemy. At this time, I only see one shipyard and a platform which unfortunately destroyed my scout. And here, Tehute is now getting harassed by 2 deltas and unfortunately loses a single supply center. So he told me to get help. Well, the only solution to this problem is just get himself spam riflemen. You really don't need vehicles in order to defend this, you're just going to waste them, so just spam riflemen since deltas are gonna have a hard time beating riflemen. Alright, so he rebuilds that supply center, very nice. So unfortunately, he did not have a great start. He did not collect as many supply containers, which is also the reason why he has a very slow start. The enemy on the meantime already has a level 2 shipyard, a level 2 headquarters still, and a bunch of supply centers. Upon seeing that, I have decided to build myself an avia factory, at the same time upgrade my shipyard to level 2 as soon as I can so that I can start producing alligators. It's a good thing that I already have a level 2 avia factory, so I am now producing hawks and I am now producing dragonflies soon in order to compensate for the Vikings' lack of anti-air. So I'm going to use that weakness against them. So here I am producing armadillos because I want to try and harass the enemy at the back of his base. Because I think here, blue most likely wants to go full on the sea, which makes his land pretty vulnerable. And I have noticed that his base is pretty weak on the backside, which means I can easily flank it. And so far, the best units useful for that, for a fast hit and run tactic, is an armadillo, which is why I am making them. But on the meantime, I'm prioritizing producing some hawks and some gators in order to defend myself in case I get attacked. Also, to get my ally air support if he needs it. Alright, so now my ally said I think green is going for bombers. However, that would be nearly impossible because looking at green's build, I think he is going for a navy build, and that's what happened. Now, the shipyard is upgraded to level 2 and another shipyard is also in level 2, which means he is planning to go navy. And avia for this game is, I think, pretty much very rare in terms of green, unless he plans on going navy avia or he plans on going navy and land, which can be pretty dangerous for my ally if he doesn't scout it well. So here I started producing myself some hawks, I started producing myself some dragonflies, getting my gators out, getting my platforms out, and at the same time telling my ally, communicating that he needs dragonflies. Even if your dragonflies are bad, the Vikings still have no anti-air to counter for that. So yeah, still use him. Damage is still damage. Alright, so here the first engagement begins, where I used my hawks to destroy this bunker and harass the enemy ground units. I scouted that he already has a assault vehicle factory level 3 and a headquarters level 3. He also built additional platforms and has a lot of Vikings, so there's a very high chance of blue attacking me using navy, but it's a good thing I am prepared. It's because I already have gators in hand. So here I just simply try to harass the enemy, getting the anti-air tower out, at the same time try to kill as many units as I can, right? So here, I am now upgrading to headquarters level 4 so I can produce more units, and I can also try to produce at least a general idea of whether a good balance unit between the naval and the good balance unit between the air and the land, so I can protect myself evenly on all 3 areas. After positioning my army, here I scout with one dragonfly to see at the enemy's base and look at what he has units. And now, green already has Poseidons. So I made a mistake here, alright? The right move here would have been to move my dragonflies in first to take the damage of the typhoons and the anti-air, and then my hawks will come in, killing all the anti-air. So it was a really bad move for me to get my hawks in first before getting my dragonfly. So yeah, that is a mistake. So I will try to reduce these mistakes for later games, alright? So another thing I realized here is that I could have easily also attacked Blue's base because he only has 3 platforms. So with those dragonflies, I can simply make them as bait and then let my hawks do the work by attacking the platforms one by one, since I outnumber Blue's navy by a lot of gators because he only has like a handful of Vikings there. Right, and now Green is doing his best to harass my ally and make sure that he doesn't attack, basically. So I scout. Now I see that Blue has some Poseidons and some Gators, and an attack is probably imminent. And that is why I started to prepare myself, position my Vikings properly, and then there's that. So my ally is now starting to produce himself a Barracuda. So the reason why I wanted him to produce a Barracuda is because if the Poseidons do it like this, like poke him on the long range, he has some counter range using the Barracuda, like a counter poke. Because if the Poseidons just hit the Gators at long range, then there's a big chance that they're just going to take damage, but they really can't engage. It's because there are Vikings at the same time platforms behind the enemy. So that can be really bad. So the Barracuda there is just for the sort of the counterplay. Alright, so now Blue decides to attack me using his Vikings. I use my Hawks to snipe out the Poseidons first, and then unfortunately my Gators got wiped out. But still I have a lot of platforms which are actually decent this time to actually manage to at least reduce the navy of the enemy. And good thing I have a lot of Hawks waiting for the enemy. It's because this was more than enough to successfully repel the enemy's attack. Just like this. Unfortunately, I lost shipyard there, 2 shipyards, level 2, and a lot of platforms. So now I looked at Blue's base. He already has upgraded to level 4 probably, and is probably now planning to go land. To confirm that, I sent one Armadillo to scout his base, and I noticed that he already has an assault vehicle factory that is already upgrading to level 3. He has a lot of Zeus, and he also has a lot of assaults and heavy assaults, and now he has walled this part to prevent me from attacking it. So that is very clear that Blue is starting to abandon navy and is probably going to go full land. So that is also why I decided to avoid going navy, build myself some platforms, and just build land units and air units. So here my ally decides to make a very good attack on enemy green's flank or the back of his base, but his units are slowly getting destroyed by this rocket towers. Well, it's quite understandable knowing since my partner is lower rank compared to these guys. Like he is like 4 ranks lower or 5 ranks lower, 3 ranks lower rather. So yeah, here I don't know, for some reason I ordered the Hawk to move to a different directions, but for some reason they just went YOLO into the enemy base. Probably because the pilot is tired of listening to their master, alright? But it's a good thing I have another batch of Hawks coming in. So now, I'm trying to snipe out the rocket tower. At the same time, I'm doing my best to snipe out that Cyclone. Because right now, my ally has no anti-air because he only has Jags left. So now I'm doing my best to snipe out all the Cyclones and keep my Hawks away from the anti-air as much as possible. And yeah, poor Hawk management, unfortunately they ran out of fuel and my ally managed to destroy the airfields in time. So this should probably discourage Green to go in air. Alright, so he should probably go full navy here. And once again, Blue tries to poke my base, but upon seeing the 3 platforms, he just instantly retreats. And then that's it, he's just gone. Alright, he's just gone. He's probably trying to scout if I have a level 2 shipyard to know if I'm still going on the sea. But in the meantime, I already have myself a Chameleon and a bunch of Jaguars prepared along with Riflemen, which will probably counter the enemy if given the right time, if he tries to attack. But here, you can see that enemy Green, both of them, the Navy, is planning to attack me again. So it's a good thing that my ally has some Gators prepared and decides to completely obliterate Green's Navy. His Gators are very strong, man. Look at this. It's very strong. So he managed just to repel the attack completely. Look at those Gators beating those Vikings, alright? So I told him to fall back, do not attack. It's because those 2 platforms can be very deadly and he only has a few Gators to handle them. So it would be a very bad overextension. Meanwhile, I already have a bunch of Hawks and my ground unit is trying to poke out the enemy base. So I'm making sure to keep Blue distracted and to let him know that I am going on land, to make sure that he is no longer going to produce anything on the sea. That was my real intention here, to let him know that, hey, I have JCP near your base, so I'm going to go land. I'm not going to go navy now, so stop producing navy. So that was one of the ideas here, which is why I'm just poking him, activating the Chameleon, going back and forth. And here, my ally tries to position his Gators very well. He does a good job because if my enemy decides to attack me, his Gators can travel there. But if the enemy decides to attack him, his Gators can also travel back. So that's a very good move to my ally there. Yeah. And now, the Barracudas are hunting the Deltas down, which is here on the land. And can be quite annoying because they give the vision. Right? So here, I try to poke the enemy once again. I just try to let them overextend, just like what those flame assaults did. Like, I attack them, let them come to me, and then attack them back when they retreat. So it's kind of like a hit and run tactic. And now, here, you can see that some of the enemy's units have overextended, and my Hawks as well. So I lost one because of that failed attack. And here, I scout that the enemy isn't really producing anything. Like, now, if you look at the Navy standings, Green and Yellow are pretty much equal in Navy. So this place here is a no man's land. Basically, no one can attack each other. It's because they are almost fair. And now I have Hawks that help support my ally and destroy some Vikings, but at the same time losing some of them to the anti-air. Poor Hawk management there. I am a noob, alright? So, there. You may also have noticed that my ally has like 4 shipyards at level 2. 4 shipyards at level 2 and he is already mass producing Gators. I bet he has enough of land. So the same goes to me. I go to headquarters level 5, get myself some JCP, a bunch of Jaguars and a bunch of Chameleon, and of course a bunch of Hawks for the air power to support my ally at the sea. So here I start to poke the enemy again, but I made the mistake of not moving my Chameleons pretty well. So here I sacrifice some Hawks to destroy this rocket tower. Here, the 2 rocket towers, because they can be pretty devastating to an enemy, devastating to my army rather. So here, after destroying that important rocket tower in front of the base, I move in, and the best move right here would have been to retreat because my Chameleons were too far forward, and what happened was they got destroyed instantly, which resulted in my army being exposed, and now they are just being chased and they are completely gone. Like, they got caught out of position here. So that was a mistake on my part right there. I should never have done that. And now my Jaguars are getting picked off, and Blue recognizes that I have no army left. It is possible that I have no army left, which is true. I only have a couple of Hawks and 1 Jaguars, but now he knows. I just show him that I still have 4 Hawks. to discourage him from attacking my base. Meanwhile, green on the other hand is trying to attack, yellow on the other hand is trying to attack green, but green does a good job at doing a wall spam and preventing my ally's JCP from entering the back of his base. So right now I am seeing a lot of cyclones, which means green is probably not going to go into Vertex or any Thor's combo, but it is still possible, so I need to take note of that. And here, I told him to try attacking the construction yard so that the enemy cannot spawn walls anymore. And yet here comes the cyclone doing a good job of scouting, and now there are 5 of them. Unfortunately, there are only 2 porcupines. The cyclones first spot the chameleon, and after they do, they kill the chameleon and then they will kill the porcupines. But in doing so, only 1 cyclone managed to survive, but unfortunately there are no longer porcupines to counter them. And here, blue is starting to attack, so I spread my hawks, destroy the typhoons first, and then slowly pick off blue's army one by one. Even though I only have 3 jags, but with the chameleon, it may look like so many jags are actually firing. So yeah, basically the enemy is now force firing at the ground, while my hawks are slowly picking the units off one by one. Successfully managed to repel blue's attack from my base, and all thanks to my hawks and my 3 jaguars hiding under my chameleon. At this point, the game was a stalemate. It was like a draw, so the only thing that really matters now is doing the right strategy. So here I said wait. I noticed that blue has focused his units on the ground. Meanwhile, green has focused his army on the navy, and they can't attack yellow because the yellow has so many gators. So I told my ally to wait. To confirm that, I needed to make sure that blue has no Vikings, because if he has no Vikings, my ally will attack blue first. But on the other hand, my ally will get attacked by green, but it's okay. It's part of the plan. So I told him, attack here, attack point E, and then be sure that you can hit the platforms one by one. However, I'm going to make his job more easier by sacrificing some of my hawks. It's okay, it's because I have a lot of hawk production, so I can destroy the platform. So here, you can see me spread my hawks and then attack the platform one by one. There, I think the right move here would have been to attack and retreat the hawks one by one instead of just letting them all go in. So I lost 8 hawks for no reason, and then I told him to charge. So basically, I saw that the enemy only has a couple of Vikings, and yet here my ally is doing his best to make sure that his alligators are on the best position. So I told him, simple naval attack, naval strike boost, and then destroy the enemy. So it was at this point that I know that green would have realized that yellow's gators are already on blue's base, and it is already too late to help blue. So green has 2 options here. He can either help blue or he can either attack my ally's base, and that is what he decided to do. So I told my ally to rotate the gators to green's base, except leave a few gators to harass blue, like destroying his headquarters, destroying some of the important buildings, which will completely paralyze blue. So I said G9, or which is go green, which is because the letter 9, the number 9 is above the letter O. So I told him attack. It's because green's navy is now on yellow's base, just like this. So now I told him go attack the platforms first. It's because he has a lot of alligators, and then just leave some for blue, 5 gators probably, or 2 would have been nice, and then completely destroy green from behind. So as you may have noticed, green's navy was out of position. His Poseidons are still traveling in order to defend his base. So that was the plan there, to rotate the gators, make sure that green's navy falls out of position, and then hit him in the back. So I also have hawks which will slowly harass the enemy, and basically at this point it was a GG. So now my army is slowly starting to attack the enemy's base. On the meantime, the other screen is also showing how yellow is slowly destroying green's Vikings. And it was at this point where I said GG, and I got panicked a little bit because why are there no gators on blue side, because he can rebuild, but thankfully he did not. So we have finally put our opponents at a very big disadvantage, so all we need now is to simply finish them off and prevent them from rebuilding back. So I have scouted too and have noticed that he has started to build his headquarters up above that mountaintop over there. And I realized that he is weak because he only has a few units left. So I sacrificed some of my hawks to destroy those anti-air, at the same time destroy those typhoons because those are the only units that are capable of stopping my air harass or pressure. So at this time, I caught a Zeus out of position and punished it openly. But then when I realized that I'm actually at a very bad choke point, I just retreat my army because I don't want to unnecessarily lose some units for no reason. So I siege up, I attack back, get some reinforcements, and then slowly poke the enemy again and again. So it's basically efficient trading of my units, but unfortunately, this guy has walled me off, so I decided this is a bad time to attack and just move in, retreated my land units, destroyed the typhoons, at the same time the anti-airs, and now the enemy has no counter to my aerial harass. So therefore, I'm just going to spam my hawks and destroy this guy as much as possible. The guy's Zeus is starting to get out of position, and now they are slowly starting to attack my units from the bottom of the hill, which puts them at a very big disadvantage. So here, I noticed something that I should also destroy the enemy factories so they are not going to be able to produce more units, right? So yeah, even if the enemy has headquarters level 2, if he is able to produce Zeus, then yeah, it is still useless. So now I'm destroying them one by one, and my JCP is basically destroying the enemy Zeus at this point, and at the same time my hawks are doing a good job at harassing the enemy. So this is where I say hi to YouTube, and now Tehute says yo. Alright, so I told him, I asked him, what do you want to shout out, and he told me that he also has a channel. So here guys, this is his channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe also to his channel guys, because he's a very good player, boy. Alright, so now it's just a matter of finishing off blue. So that is it. GG's, I guess. It was a very epic match, and it was full of mistakes, but at the same time it was also full of strategic maneuvers, which of course decided the game, right? So yeah, there we go. I have a channel. Subscribe to him guys, and there we go. It's just a matter of finishing off green. All his units are now gone, and he can no longer rebuild, and GG at this point. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel too. And if you're new here, yeah, feel free to join in the fun, comment whatever you want, and enjoy the community in general. Alright, so that's it. See you guys later. Xeonexis over and out.